Lil Durk's Hitman sheds light on the reason behind his actions. Everyone's been talking about Lil Durk's recent arrest by federal authorities, but equally as much attention is focused on his supposed informant, OTF Jam. A video has surfaced of Jam showing support for Durk, sparking more rumors.
It was so crazy though. If I be sitting up there doing all this, sneak this and internet games and all this, I have some money, do something.
Amidst all the attention surrounding his recent arrest, there's growing talk about Lil Durk's alleged hitman coming forward with his reasons for turning on him. The hitman reportedly spoke out after Keon Grant, following the murder of Quando Rondo's cousins, was arrested. According to the feds, Grant revealed who sent him, and that name was Lil Durk. Now, Durk, whose real name is Durk Devontae Banks, is facing some of the most serious charges of his career. The rapper was arrested in South Florida after a murder-for-hire plot came to light. And this isn't a minor case. The Broward County Sheriff's Office, with the assistance of the U.S. Marshals, took Durk into custody. The charges against him are severe, as prosecutors claim he's not only the leader of the rap group OTF, Only the Family, but also the head of a violent criminal operation allegedly orchestrated by Durk himself. This case isn't just about the rap industry. It's about years of street violence spilling into real life. The incident behind it all traces back to an old beef, which reached a tragic peak on the night of November 6, 2020. Lil Durk, along with his crew, was at the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta when things took a violent turn around 2 a.m. Durk spotted Quando Rondo outside the club and immediately confronted him. Words were exchanged briefly before the fight escalated, turning from a fistfight into an all-out brawl, drawing in more people from both sides. Gunfire erupted amidst the chaos that night. V was shot multiple times and rushed to the hospital, but he didn't survive. He was just 26 years old. The fallout from that night was massive, with surveillance footage quickly spreading across the internet showing the moment V was struck. Security, already on the scene, exchanged gunfire with some of the crew members involved, adding to the madness. Timothy "Tim" Leaks, an associate of Quando Rondo, who was also hit during the altercation, was later charged with Vaughn's murder. He was taken into custody at Grady Hospital in Atlanta while recovering, which led to the case being closed almost as soon as it opened. However, what happened next only fueled the fire. Less than 2 weeks after Vaughn's death, Quando Rondo released a track called End of Story, where he essentially justified the events of that night, claiming it was self-defense. Lyrics like "Blood on your brother on the ground," "Go and pick your mans up," didn't sit well with Vaughn's circle, particularly Lil Durk. Rondo made it clear he felt no remorse, and the song became more than just music. It was a defiant statement. The situation escalated further, with Rondo's shows in places like Macon, Georgia, being canceled for security reasons. Rumors circulated that Durk might have been buying out tickets to send a message that he was always watching. Then came the alleged DMs between Durk and Rondo, with Rondo supposedly trying to clear the air. Rondo later denied the claims, posting on Instagram that the screenshots were fake and urging people not to believe anything they saw online. Now, federal authorities claim that Durk put a bounty on Rondo's head, setting the stage for a major revenge plot. Fast forward to August 19, 2022, when word spread to Durk's crew that Rondo was at a hotel in Los Angeles. That day, 5 OTF members, DeAndre Wilson, Keith Jones, David Lindsay, ASA Houston, and an unnamed 5th individual were reportedly involved in the situation. A man flew from Chicago to San Diego, then drove up to Los Angeles using cash, provided by Durk, according to authorities. Durk reportedly kept a low profile, texting his associate not to book any flights under his name. On the same day, he was seen in the San Fernando Valley, staying out of sight, but keeping an eye on the entire operation. Once the team arrived in LA, they connected with Keon Grant, one of Durk's most trusted OTF associates, who had flown in on a private jet. Grant didn't come empty-handed. He brought resources. Court records reveal that he arranged hotel rooms, picked up 4 ski masks, and secured 2 high-end cars to blend into LA's luxury scene. He also allegedly supplied firearms, including one modified into a fully automatic machine gun for Jones, Lindsay, and another unnamed associate. The next day, the crew followed Rondo and his cousin, Sava Robinson, as they moved around LA. They watched as the two drove in a Cadillac Escalade, hitting up a dispensary, a clothing store in West Hollywood, and finally stopping at a gas station near the Beverly Center. That's when Houston parked nearby to block any potential escape route, setting up for an ambush. Jones, Lindsay, and the unnamed man jumped out and fired at Rondo, but tragically, they missed him and hit Robinson instead, killing him on the spot. After the hit, the OTF members reportedly regrouped at an inn, meeting with Grant to discuss payment and secure their cut. By nightfall, they were on their way back to Chicago, flying out of San Diego with the job completed, even though they hadn't fully hit their intended target. Authorities later arrested Grant, Jones, Lindsay, Wilson, and Houston on charges of conspiracy to commit murder for hire following a coordinated raid in Chicago. U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada, who is prosecuting the case, didn't hold back, calling it cold-blooded. He added that while targeting a rival is one thing, doing it in a public place, putting bystanders at risk, is a whole other level of danger. Now, Durk is facing a lengthy list of charges, including murder for hire and conspiracy to commit murder for hire. But it's not just Durk. 5 other OTF members are also arrested as co-conspirators. The feds claim Durk financed the entire operation, covering everything from the ambush itself to the travel expenses for his crew to get from Chicago to LA. They have messages to back it all up. Authorities say that Durk told an associate not to book any flights under names linked to him, trying to keep everything as clean as possible. But it's not just the serious charges that have people talking. There's a growing rumor mill about possible informants within his inner circle. Social media, live streams, and blog posts are buzzing with speculation that someone close to Durk may have flipped, offering authorities crucial insight into OTF's activities. Names are being tossed around, and some fans are pointing to people like OTF Jam. Whether it's just rumors or the truth, people are speculating that more than one person might be involved, possibly someone who has been around Durk for years. The idea that someone in his circle could have been wearing a wire this whole time has put everyone on edge and hits close to home for Durk and his crew. The arrest didn't come out of nowhere. When Durk saw his people getting arrested one after another, he reportedly tried to flee. He was down in Fort Lauderdale with his kids, supposedly spending time at Disneyland. But when his crew in Chicago started getting picked up, he likely realized it was only a matter of time before the authorities would turn their attention to him. Durk initially booked flights to Dubai and Switzerland, but later switched to a private jet headed for Italy. However, the feds were already on his trail and weren't going to let him leave the country. The reaction online has been explosive, with fans, bloggers, and insiders all trying to piece together what's really going on with OTF. The arrest has sparked a lot of tension within Durk's circle as well. People who were once loyal are now going silent, or even distancing themselves. OTF's MOA, one of Durk's close associates, has told people to stop calling his phone for details, calling out those who seem almost pleased about Durk's arrest. He urged people to keep their fake concerns to themselves and stay out of family business. The streets are whispering about a major betrayal from within OTF, an inside source allegedly feeding information to the feds for years. Rumors suggest that the snitch could be Jam, a member of OTF who was thought to be solid. Jam served 12 years for attempted murder, got out in 2022, and was welcomed back into the crew. But according to reports, Jam wasn't just doing his time. He was allegedly working with authorities the whole time, wearing a wire and gathering information on OTF. Supposedly, his information connects Durk, whose real name is Durk Devontae Banks, to a hit on Quando Rondo's cousin. A video has even surfaced showing Durk hyping up Jam.
There's a video of Durk hyping up Jam.
Hey, you know what's so crazy though? About be sitting up there doing all this, sneak this and internet games and all this. Up some money, do something. Like,
while this situation is hitting OTF hard, it's also stirring up tension with rival groups. There's been talk that the Crips, particularly Brick Baby, may be involved in some way, with fans speculating that they could be connected to the leak of information. Brick Baby has ties to both OTF and Quando Rondo, and there's speculation that tensions with Rondo may have led to some recent shifts within the Mainam community. However, some bloggers believe that Quando Rondo felt like Brick Baby and the Crips weren't fully backing him, which has only fueled the fire even further.
I don't think Brick Baby set up that.
Looking at the big picture, Lil Durk's arrest appears to be another chapter in a violent cycle that has been escalating for years. But it raises an important question. Why does Lil Durk want Quando Rondo dead, especially just 8 months after winning a Grammy for All My Life? Durk is now facing some of the most serious charges of his career, including murder for hire. He was arrested in South Florida just hours after the feds took down 5 of his associates from Only the Family, OTF, who are allegedly connected to the murder of Savia Robinson, Quando Rondo's cousin. Durk, whose real name is Durk Devontae Banks, is now sitting in Broward County under U.S. Marshals custody, facing accusations that have pushed this feud into an even more dangerous territory. But this isn't just a single event. It's rooted in a long-standing conflict between Quando Rondo and King Von, one of Durk's closest allies. The beef eventually spiraled into the intense feud we see today. Before the tragic death of Von in November 2020, he had been rising in the rap world with his raw storytelling, notably through hits like Crazy Story. His growing fame, especially with his ties to OTF and Lil Durk, solidified his image and expanded his fan base. However, as Von's fame grew, he began openly questioning NBA YoungBoy's authenticity, calling out his lyrics as fake or exaggerated. This critique came during one of Von's Instagram live sessions, where he played a YoungBoy song, Play With Us, and casually questioned the rapper's credibility.
YoungBoy talking about on this song, bro.
What?
Talking crazy on this, man.
Oh, yeah?
He ain't even like that.
Oh!
On his ass, nah.
On his
All that cap. You got cap in your rap.
For a while, the conflict between Von and YoungBoy was simmering under the surface. But things escalated when Von posted a picture hanging out with YoungBoy's ex, Yaya. This move didn't sit well with YoungBoy, who responded by posting a picture with his son and a caption suggesting he'd have his son cross paths with Von's future daughter. It felt like both a petty and personal jab. Not stopping there, YoungBoy took things further by linking up with Asian Doll, Von's ex, in the studio, which sparked even more online rumors and tension. Von fired back on Twitter, calling YoungBoy's music garbage and hinting that he knew personal details about YoungBoy's family. In response, YoungBoy released Dead Trolls, packed with subliminal messages that fans speculated were aimed at Von. The lyrics, "Plan on staining something in Atlanta too," hinted at a growing level of hostility. The rivalry between their crews intensified, with both sides exchanging heated posts on social media, turning it into a full-blown beef that fans were closely following. Quando Rondo, part of YoungBoy's camp, even traded threats with Chicago drill rapper Lil Ree, who is closely aligned with Durk and OTF. Timothy Tim Leaks, a friend of Quando, added more fuel to the fire by tweeting a warning directed at NS from Churro to stay away from Quando. Despite all the escalating talk, Von downplayed the beef in an interview with DJ Academics, claiming it was more social media hype than actual drama. However, just one day after that interview, on November 6, 2020, Von ran into Quando Rondo outside a hookah lounge in Atlanta. Von didn't hesitate, immediately confronting Quando and throwing punches. A fight broke out, and in the chaos, Tim allegedly fired, fatally wounding Von. Afterward, Asian Doll, Von's ex, tried to downplay the situation, insisting that the beef had been overhyped and that the real enemies were the people gossiping online. But Youngboy's reaction showed there were still deep-seated tensions. He dropped the track, Bring the Hook, taking direct shots at Von and continuing the cycle of animosity. Von's home block O-block rapping A-block pack gets rolled up. This lyric was incendiary and resulted in Von's crew responding by burning Young Boys. 4 KT flags and a viral video in the next few months were filled with non-stop disses. DJ Academics even commented that Youngboy was on demon time, a statement Lil Reese quickly dismissed as mere rap talk. Meanwhile, NLE Choppa, who was a fan of V, entered the fray, showing support for Vow in a social media post saying he was backing Von's name since he could no longer defend himself. The young boy fired back with, "No. Like, I know," delivering lines that were not just disses, but direct threats. "I bet your mom will be destroyed when we send your stupid ass to God." He even aimed shots at Durk and Reese, suggesting they would bite the dust just like V. The feud expanded, pulling in other big names. Bobby Shmurda, who had recently been released, criticized people taking credit for work done by their friends, which seemed like a jab at Youngboy and his fans who supported L's role in the incident. A young boy never wanted to let a disc slide, shot back with sarcasm, telling Bobby to make a hit and even mocking him as a slave. This exchange was far from friendly, with Bobby eventually threatening violence on social media, though it never came to that. Months later, in November 2022, when Rondo and a young boy dropped a joint project, one track stood out when it took a jab at V's sister KBB, with lyrics saying, "My favorite op dead sister talked too much," referring to her outspoken defense of V. He even alluded to L. Tim's role in V's death, saying Timmy rolled her brother up, adding salt to an already open wound. Kayla clapped back on social media, calling the young boy a hater who's always beefing with everyone. Lil Durk, who had always been close to V, wasn't about to let things slide. Though he initially held back from responding publicly, he eventually made his position clear when rumors circulated that he and Youngboy might squash their EF. Durk shut them down, saying, "I ain't friends with no I." To him, this wasn't just about music. It was about loyalty to Von in recent interviews. Durk has spoken about his stance, saying he won't send shots but also won't forgive anyone responsible for V's death, with both camps having allies spread across the rap industry. The beef between Youngboy, Kwandu, and Durk is this ongoing feud has led to a major divide among both fans and rappers, with each camp sending veiled disses, direct confrontations, and escalating tensions, making it one of the most intense standoffs in modern hip-hop. Durk is facing a potentially long legal battle, while Youngboy and Quando continue to fuel the animosity with their music and statements. The deadly conflict between King Von and Quando Rondo shone a brutal spotlight on the violent tensions simmering beneath the surface of the rap world. However, as shocking as this feud was, it is just one thread in the much larger fabric of Chicago's rap scene, where the intersection of music, street life, and crime has created a complex and unique culture. For many Chicago rappers, feuds, violence, and retribution are not just lyrical themes but real-life struggles. To understand the crime scene in Chicago, we can look at the life of King Von, born Devin Bennett, as a prime example. His story is deeply intertwined with the gang violence that plagued Chicago's South Side and the lifestyle that came with it. While Von projected a ruthless, unapologetic persona publicly, his alleged involvement in several high-profile murders reveals a much darker and more complicated side. In April 2014, Chicago police questioned Von regarding the murder of Gakira Key Barnes, a 17-year-old member of the Gangster Disciples. Barnes, who had built a reputation within Chicago's gang scene, was allegedly killed by Von as part of a retaliation against gang conflicts. Her death was especially shocking due to her young age and the brutal manner of her killing. Witnesses reported seeing Von near the crime scene, and many believed he played a role in her death. However, due to inconsistencies in witness statements. The authorities couldn't formally charge him. This incident marked one of the first official links between Von's name and a murder investigation. Just a few months after the Barnes case, Von was allegedly involved in another violent crime. On May 29, 2014, he was linked to the shooting of Malk Stuckey, who was killed, and 2 others who were injured at a party in the Englewood neighborhood. This marked another instance where Von's name was tied to a violent event, further solidifying his connection to Chicago's dangerous streets. Chicago's South Side saw the tragic death of Stuckey, a man who wasn't deeply involved in gang life but became an unfortunate target after a confrontation with King Von and his associates. Von, along with an accomplice, faced first-degree murder and attempted murder charges. The trial gained considerable media attention, with Von ultimately being found not guilty in December 2017. Many speculated that witness intimidation played a role in his acquittal, shedding light on the often fragile justice system in neighborhoods plagued by gang violence. This case added to Von's growing reputation as a dangerous figure who was hard to prosecute. In May 2019, Von and fellow rapper Lil Durk were arrested in connection with the shooting of Alexander Witherspoon outside a drive-in theater in Atlanta. Prosecutors claimed that Von and Durk were involved in a robbery and shooting that left Witherspoon seriously injured but alive. This incident highlighted Von's expanding violent influence, reaching beyond Chicago and into other cities. The arrest drew significant media attention, especially as both rappers were on the rise to mainstream fame. After a period in jail, Durk was released on a $250,000 bond, and Von was released on a $300,000 bond. Though charges against Durk were later dropped, the incident only fueled rumors about Von's involvement in violent crime, showing his unyielding commitment to a lifestyle that intertwined his street reputation with his music career. Von's life and lyrics often glorified his roots in Chicago's South Side, specifically the Parkway Gardens neighborhood, also known as O Block. This area became infamous for its gang affiliations, primarily linked to the Black Disciples. O Block, named in honor of a fallen Black Disciple member, O.D. Perry, was at the center of a long-standing conflict with the gangster disciples, particularly the STL, St. Lawrence set. This rivalry fueled a brutal cycle of killings and retaliations,